Henry coming in. One of the questions that I get asked a lot is, Laurel, I really love the two-step system. I love having a lot of conversations, but I think it's time to automate this because, I don't really have time to sit there and have all these conversations in Messenger. And so I couldn't think of anyone better than to bring in my friend Dan Henry. He is like the king of automated systems, and he has built many of them. As a matter of fact, it is what has gotten his business to over 30 million in sales. And so I definitely don't think there's anyone better that I could have brought in to show you guys how to transition from manual conversations and value bombs and all of that fun stuff into an automated system that almost takes care of it. It's not 100% automated, but it is going to give you guys a lot more freedom. But the important thing that you guys have to understand is you cannot automate something until you have worked the kinks out manually, okay? So he's going to be coming in. Make sure you're on time. Make sure you read all of the details of the event. Also, if you are having issues getting messenger conversations, I highly recommend this. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from this replay of how to get your first 100 messenger conversations to validate an offer. Okay. Before I get into the Ask Laurel thread, I do want to show you guys that my Phoenix event is filling up. You can see here 106 comments, people wanting to go. We only have 50 seats. And so if you would like to come to my Phoenix event, we've made it super affordable. It's only $297 a ticket. All we're doing is basically charging for your food and some drinks. So it doesn't get more affordable than this to be in the presence of my mentor, Mr. Nick Peterson. People spend like $100,000 just to be in the room with him for one day. And so the fact that he's coming in to show the stealth content strategies that he's been teaching me over the last 4 years. He is one of the best at helping people figure out what type of content do I need to be doing for my audience, because you guys know this, all content is not created equal. Also, AI has been, the kind of the buzz topic. And so I'm bringing in my copywriter, Lucas Rashevsky, who's been using AI for the last several years, not just the last several months, the last several years. And so he's going to come in and do a workshop. So if you want to spend 3 days with me in Phoenix, we will plan out your content for the entire $5 ads ecosystem. And we're having it at Joe Polish's office, which is pretty darn cool. So who knows, he might drop in. And we're doing a launch party for my brand new book. So everyone who's going to be at the event will get a copy of my brand new book and a couple of other surprises that I can't really tell you guys yet, but this will definitely be something that if you like what we're doing here in the $7 program, it's a great opportunity to get some in-person help, and from not only me, but the people who also help me make my business happen. So I think that that's pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the group. And again, make sure that you guys are going through the featured section. I'm going to go straight into the Ask Laurel thread. As you can see, make sure you are reading the rules. We do have some rules in place, but that is only to ensure that I can do these lives every single week, and we're not repeating the same things over and over again. So thank you guys for being patient. I am going to kick things off with Judith, who says, I want to separate my business page from my personal profile. I've had both for years, and lately Facebook calls my business page a profile. How do I do that? I'm not sure what you're asking here. I have a business page and a personal profile. I'm not really sure what you mean. I want to separate my business page from my personal profile. So I'm not really sure I don't have enough context to be able to answer that. If you could rephrase that question next week, I could probably answer that. Or if you rephrase the question and ask it in the group, I'm sure the group could probably give you some feedback as well. Christine says, hey, Laurel, thank you for Monday's call. That was really helpful. She is talking about that training that you could find in the featured section. She says, my question is that my 3 power content ads in the past few days have been faltering some on the hold rate. See screenshots below. I now have 525 people in my warm stack from running these ads. Would you recommend shifting these 3 ads to retarget the warm stack using the ping pong setup and testing out 3 new power content ads? Or if an ad starts faltering on the hold rate. So it looks like your videos are doing pretty good. Your cost per through play, your cost per 25% view, everything looks good. I would move on and get the rest of the ecosystem set up. Remember, I want you guys to get the entire ecosystem set up in like 7 days. Like, I would move on to some of your targeting stuff. If you go into the $7 program, I would move on to the ATM retargeting strategy. And I would also start doing some of that organic content so that you can start boosting. Those are my recommendations. I don't like fiddling with power content. I like to let it run. Yours are all hitting the KPIs. So I would either move on to some conversion multipliers or retargeting, but you want to definitely move through the ecosystem. And for any of you guys who are wondering, like, what does that ecosystem look like? If you go to the 3 missions, which is, by the way, the first assignment in the program, I know some of you guys have been saying that you're stuck, and just come to the 3 missions exercises. It's the first assignment. And a lot of you guys, if you would just watch this video, a deep dive into the ads ecosystem, it would answer so many of your questions. Also, grab a strategy document. Like, if you grab a strategy document, like let's say this low ticket offer, right? It literally tells you where to go in the program to get this done, right? Mission number 1 is power content. So you would go to the power content section and then you would go through this, right? Cool, you got all your power content up. Next is mission number 2, top of funnel offer ads, low ticket offer strategy. So I'm gonna go into offer ads and I'm gonna do mission number 2, which is launching my low ticket ads. And then mission number 3 is the ATM retargeting strategy. So I'm going to go to mission number 3 and I'm going to do the ATM retargeting strategy, because a lot of you guys are getting really like mixed up with all of this. But if you just go and grab a strategy doc, it literally tells you everything that you need to be doing. Okay. Let's see. Jenna says, how do you talk about your next level offer without people in your first offer feeling annoyed? Context, I have 2 programs. Start your private practice and grow your private practice. When the start students ask questions about stuff in grow, and I say things like, great question, yes, hiring is a great strategy. Since hiring is a growth strategy, we covered in grow. Would love to help you with the next phase of your, because you're just pitching them. They're asking you a question and you're just be like, well, you have to pay for that information, right? And I'm going to give you advice based on my own personal way that I do this. Is I don't hold anything back. Like, when you guys ask me questions about the stuff that's in Lean on Laurel, I just tell you, I don't withhold anything. And yes, I do think that there are, certain things that you should leave for the other program, obviously, right? Because you want people to buy it. But I would not personally answer a question this way, because it's kind of like, I don't want to be helpful unless you pay me. But I would give them, like, when people ask this, okay? When people ask a question and it's about something that's in your other program, what is their most immediate need that needs to be met, right? Most of the time, it's a small problem. I would help them solve that small problem so that you can build that pipeline equity with them. That way, they're like, that was cool. Now that you've showed me how to do this, how do I get into this other program, right? Like, a lot of you guys always, when you come to me whenever you have finished doing your ecosystem and you're like, okay, what's next? Am I ready for Lean on Laurel, right? You guys come to me and ask those questions. And so that's what we want to do. Like, we never want to be like, well, that's reserved for blah, 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 right? Like, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll give you guys the information and I just am like, and when you guys ask me for like a certain resource, like a cheat sheet or something, but I'll be like, that's reserved for my Lean on Laurel students. But I try to be as helpful as possible. And most of the time, some little thing, like really work on getting to that next immediate need that they need in order to move forward. Like, they're not going to need everything from your grow program. So it's okay to help them with that first step, because by helping them with that first step, they are going to make it their own assumption that they need your next level program. Does that make sense? So hopefully I answered that the way that you wanted that. Let's see. Jan says, I would love to get your information on your power offer. Awesome. Let's see. I understand copy coach feedback, but I cannot give a tangible promise because of how many extra calls we can book really depends on how warm our clients' audiences are. Are you a fitness coach who wants more premium one-on-one clients but don't have enough time to nurture your leads to a call in your DMs? We have the solution. We know being a fitness coach is demanding and the burden of sales and marketing can be overwhelming. This is kind of a fluff line. You probably already tried to hire a DM sales rep, but it didn't work out. This isn't really a power offer. But I mean, I get what you're doing. You're kind of front loading it with a why. But let me look at your actual offer. If over the next 30 days we hit the ground running, booking your consistent sales calls that help, no. We need to have something tangible here, right? Like if over the next 30 days we took over booking all of your calls and are able to close at least 20% more than you did last month, would you want to chat, right? Like, even though you can't specifically promise a certain amount of calls, you can promise, if you've worked with enough people, you will know that on average, once you get into working with that person, that you can get X amount percentage of closes more, right? Like, for instance, right? Like, I know without a doubt, people who come in to lean on Laurel, they can go from 2 to 3 times their return on ad spend to 30 to 40 times their return on ad spend, because that's the average that most people do whenever they follow my system. And so we just have to take a step back and be like, okay, what is the average success rate? So that would be my only thing that I think, but I think you could do without some of this. I think you should literally start off with this. Be like, fitness coaches who want more premium one-on-one clients but don't want to nurture leads in the DMs, listen up. If over the next 30 days we took over your DMs and moved X amount of prospects over to a call and closed 20% more than you did last month, would you take me up on that offer? That would be a lot more tangible. And this is fine, but the most important thing is helping them identify, this is me and this is what I can promise. So hopefully that feedback was helpful. Let's see. Brian says, how do you track which ads are generating the inquiries and sales? Facebook is failing to track numbers of messages per ad set. And some people watch an ad, come to my profile and send a DM, which again, I can't track at all. Yeah, I just keep track. Honestly, in my head, I don't really keep track. Facebook Ads Manager really sucks. Sometimes it'll say, X amount of people messaged you, but if you're getting messages, here's my thought is, if you're getting messages, I don't really care about tracking. I'm just okay, cool, my ads are working, right? And I wish that, I know you guys want me to have better answers for these kinds of things, but I feel like sometimes people get into the weeds of tracking instead of actually just identifying what's working. If you're getting messages, it's working, right? You don't need a Facebook, Facebook admin. One of the things I want you guys to understand is, I've made over $2 million in my business, right? If I go into the Facebook Ads Manager, you will see that I've spent roughly about $100,000 in ad spend over the last couple of years. And Facebook will tell me that my return on ad spend was 0.52, right? It's not giving me an accurate picture, because most of the time people reach out to me. I do inbound marketing, right? Most of my stuff is inbound. And so I know my ads are working because of the inbound messages. Can I track it? There's probably ways to track it, but I don't really care because I'm too busy doing the things in my business that work. And this is not a knock on Brian wanting to track anything, but that's how I do things. And I can only give you guys advice on things that I personally do. And tracking every little thing is just not my personality at all. Let's see. Marvin says, I launched the 3 power content videos yesterday. 1 campaign, 3 ad sets in the US, and 1 campaign, 3 ad sets in the rest of the English relevant world. In less than 24 hours, I would say there's 10 to 1 difference in everything. Rest of the world is set up to $5 an ad set and US at $10. So half the ad spent and 10 times the result. I have a list of the new 15 videos to record. When I launch the next campaigns to warm audiences, do I launch objective sales purchases? I am testing selling a low ticket offer that should not require conversation since it is a live done with you group coaching. So I'm selling a low, yeah, so that's what I would do. I would do sales purchases. So whenever I set mine up, I do power content tier 1, and then I retarget with all of my power content that has a CTA for people to buy my $7 program. So yeah, Marvin, you hit the nail on the head. Let's see, Joe says, in terms of running paid traffic to my power content for mission number 1, does it matter that I just created a brand new Facebook page that has no or very few likes, organic content? No, this does not matter, but make sure if you're doing your 3 weekly, like you said, I'll be building it up over time. It seems kind of dirty to run traffic to a hollow page from a credibility standpoint. No, the sooner you get it done, the sooner you get it done, right? Like, let's say you run ads for 2 weeks, you'll have at least 6 pieces of content up there. You got to just start doing it. It's people understand that some businesses are new. I wouldn't worry about that. Context, I've been a marketing consultant and realtor for many years, but only ever provided content organically from my personal profile. Yeah, that's fine. You got to build it somehow, right? Can't just sit on it. And ads are the best way to build that. Like, if you run ads, you are going to build up that page relatively quickly. Safrina says, I'm building my 15 3 to 5 minute power content right now, which is actually a 15 series training. That's awesome. I'm planning on putting these out on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. So there's a bit of a succession here to encourage them to binge the separate videos on the platform they found me. So my question is, since I also subscribed to eBoo last week, hell yeah, you did. That was great. And by the way, you're going to get a little more access to me, Safrina. We're going to announce something really, really cool. Vince and I are working on something cool. So I'm just gonna tease you guys with that. But yeah, eBoo is really, really cool. If you guys haven't seen me and Vince's jam, I definitely recommend it. Let's see if we go to Lanyap. Let's see, is it in the guest trainings? I think it is. Might be in somewhere else. Let me actually see the workshop vault. I know I put it somewhere. You know what? I'm actually going to put that in guest trainings for you guys because it is really a really great training. So I'm going to actually load this up into this section of guest trainings. I'm going to put that jam with me and Vince because I think it's really, I do know it is in the conversion over cocktails replay right here from August 13th. But I'm actually going to put it in the guest training so that you guys can easily find it. But he built an entire software that is completely congruent to my power content strategy, and I won't give it away, but if you haven't watched this from April 13th, 2023, you have some time this weekend, definitely just put on the video and just kind of like listen. He's built something really cool. But anyway, back to your question. What do you think if I test a CTA of, if you want to watch the whole 15-piece series in one sitting with more meat and potatoes content, like the director's cut of your favorite movie, click this link to get instant access to the complete series. And I'll just use eBooth to track their engagement and retarget from there, either to my, yes. So if you're talking about putting the entire 15 video series on eBooth so that you can track them across multiple platforms, absolutely. One of the things though is people don't really care, like the director's cut of your favorite movie, click this link. Like in every single one, you want the CTA to flow like, hey, I just showed you this. There are 14 other videos including, and then I would make hooks for every single one of those videos and list them out and then push to that. So you want to make sure that you have a strong promise of value. And I would put that entire 15 series on eBooth and just let people click from one to the other. I love this idea. That's actually how I'm going to be using eBooth here. In the next couple of weeks, I'm building out a series that's very similar to my 7-day organic marketing sprint, and that's what I'm going to be doing. But yes, I think that that's a great idea. And then you could just have the $39 offer pop up. And a lot of you guys are probably confused right now because you don't know how eBoov works, but it's an in-video conversion software. So as people are watching the videos, inside the video, they can actually click and buy this $39 offer, which is pretty freaking cool. So yeah, I would pop up this $39 offer at the end of all of those videos with an eBoov. And in every single one of the individual videos that are on social, I would link them to the direct link so that they can scroll through all of those videos in eBoov. But I like the way you think, Safrina. You've got a great. You and I think a lot alike. Let's see. Daniel says, "Well, you were right on Facebook. Looking at my ad is a violation." No, I told you last week. I was like, oh man. Okay, Meta banned me from advertising. They don't play around and will shut you down. When it happened, I was bummed as I built a strong ecosystem with integrity. All that work and effort I put into your strategy is now gone, and I'm assuming there's nothing I can do as their decision of me not being able to advertise on Meta is final. It's never final. I've gotten ad accounts back months later. It just takes a lot of persistence. Although I managed to make one sale of $1,000 and have a potential $16K in the pipeline, and that's because of you. Oh, wow, Daniel, thank you. That is an amazing testimonial. See, guys, if you implement, it will work. You taught me how to bring value on those sales calls by treating every interaction as if they paid me $500 to make a plan of action for them. Thank you. If that money comes in, I definitely want to be part of your Lean on Laurel program. Awesome. I would love to have you. And there is a way that we can get away with doing more Facebook ads. So this happens to all of us. Like if I showed you my business manager right now, you would see several disabled ad accounts. It happens to us all. I also want to thank you for teaching me how to be a good marketer. I'm going to take your entire approach and apply it to YouTube. Absolutely. Like I run everything on YouTube just like I do on Facebook. But this time around, I will be even more polarizing with my power content to build an even stronger ecosystem. My question to you is this. I know I have to deal with Google Tag Manager and start posting videos on YouTube. What suggestion can you give me? So you don't really need Google Tag Manager if you're just doing YouTube. Like I don't really use Google Tag Manager just for my funnel, right? To track. But you don't necessarily have to use Google Tag Manager. You can just put the Google site tag, which is just like the Facebook pixel on your site, and it'll be fine. What suggestion can you give me? For example, do I use the same KPIs for top of funnel? Yeah, so it's a little bit different on YouTube as far as the KPIs. I do still track like people who are watching 25% videos views under $1. That is the one KPI, but you can't really track hook rate and stuff like that. One thing, Daniel, that I would recommend that you do is test TikTok ads. Fitness does really, really good. Like Lean on Laurel has a ton of fitness coaches in there, and we are executing the same exact strategy, especially with the 2 steps and the conversion multipliers and the power content on TikTok, and getting really, really great results. Fitness, that platform is really amazing because people are sitting there watching like short workout videos and stuff like that. So YouTube's great. I would also test TikTok as well, for sure. Let's see, Hawa says, so I want to try a ping pong strategy. For the first step, it says to send cold targeted traffic to all 3 videos. Am I supposed to cold traffic from three different audiences or test one audience? I would do one audience for each, right? So send cold targeted traffic to all 3 videos. So let's say like I would have 3 pieces of power content, and let's just say I would send those 3 pieces of power content to Amy Porterfield's audience, right? So I would have 3 ad sets all going to Amy Porterfield, and the only thing different about the ads would be the power content. But you can, if you want, try sending, different audiences to different videos. What's really cool about this strategy is you guys can do it however you feel like doing it. There's really no wrong in doing this. Let's see, Talita says, I have a question regarding my power offer validation test. I am testing one offer across 5 creatives to find out which creative performs best before rolling out my other power offers. Awesome. I like that. I have spent $400 across all 5 ad sets and had a total of 65 messenger conversations with mostly high quality leads. However, that seems expensive. Not really if they're high quality leads. Think about how much like people spend $400 to book one call, right? Talk about expensive. So if you can close, like would you be like, let me ask you this, right? If you had 65 messenger conversations and you were able to move 10%, so 6 people onto a call and close 2 of them, would you really be mad that you spent $400? Probably not, right? let's see, my offer targets women with autoimmune disease, but I've noticed I've had women with other health conditions that are not related to autoimmune disease reach out to me. I was going to test 10 additional health conditions. However, is that really needed, as many people with a wide range of health issues are reaching out to me on my autoimmune disease offer? So here's the funny thing is, if you are really great at what you do, and this is a great example that I want you guys to understand, just because we target one pocket of people does not mean that it is going to be completely polarizing to other pieces of people who might need you. I will give you guys a direct example. Whenever I first started my business, I wanted to work with brick and mortar businesses in Phoenix, Arizona. I didn't start out working with digital business owners, but because I was consistent with my Facebook ad content, I kept having coaches reach out to me and asking me if my local strategy would work for their webinars and all of that stuff. And I was like, I don't know, let's try it. And before I knew it, digital business owners became my best audience that pay me the most money. But I didn't make content for them, but my content still attracted them, right? So what's happening with Talita is, even though she's targeting people with autoimmune diseases, other people are like, well, that's really cool. I wonder if she could help me with this other thing. And so that's really cool. So Talita, you're doing everything right. So she says, I know you teach us to get really specific and call out our ideal audience, but my ideal audience is women who suffer from any type of chronic health condition. So should I rewrite my offer to income? No, don't redo anything. Like, everything you're doing is fine. Now, can you write another offer? Absolutely. That's going to attract more, but you're already, like, you have to think, this is one of those things where you guys are thinking like form over function, right? Meaning she's worried about, well, do I need to rewrite my power? No, it's doing what you want it to do. It's attracting people. Don't worry about whether or not it's directed to, a certain type of audience. If other people are reaching out, it's working, right? Now, can you write another offer? Absolutely. And attract even more? Yes, because that other offer is probably going to attract more pockets of different people. Anyway, and how do I choose the winning creative? According to the most clicks to messenger that I get? Yes, whichever one is bringing you the best quality messenger conversations. Like, I know it's kind of hard to gauge like which messengers came from which one. But if it's driving really great messenger conversations, I wouldn't really worry about that. I would just be worried about like, let me just finish and then I'll give you my answer. And what KPI am I looking for if I'm not offering to book a call? So far, I've not sold a single course, which is $9.97, but I've been having a lot of valuable messenger conversations and giving out links to my power. So, I know you're not offering to book a call, but I would absolutely do that, because you need to figure out why the hell they're not buying that $9.97 offer. And the best way is by taking calls. Like, even my clients who come to me and they only have like a $197 offer, I make them take calls for the first 20 sales, just so that we can hear every objection and just kind of get like that. So I would absolutely do that, because if you have 65 messenger conversations with high qualified leads, you should take 8 to 10% of them to a phone call and sell the shit out of this $9.97, right? Then you wouldn't be so mad about this $400 in ad spend. Like, I think honestly, like, just by the context that you've given me, Talita, I would not change a thing. Like, the only thing that I would change is I would get people onto a phone call so that you can see why people aren't buying. Because it's just a numbers game, right? The more information that we can get, the more that we're like, cool, if $400 brings in 65 high qualified leads, and out of every 65 people we can get 2 people to buy $1,000, that's awesome. That's $2,000. That would be $1,600 for every $400. $1,600 in profit for every $400 that you're spending, right? So that's the way that I like to look at things. Like, it's just a numbers game. Like, it's just doing the math. Let's see. Nathan says, hey, Laurel, conversion multipliers to cold as part of the strategy you shared this week. Where are your placements for $5 a day to generate comments and conversion conversations before launching power content? Just Reels. Yes, I am using the engagement objective, and I'm optimizing for engagement on the ad, and it's just in the Reels placement. I'm not using the stories and feed placement, just Instagram Reels. You could do Facebook Reels as well. I just prefer Instagram Reels as a platform. I don't really like Facebook Reels. But yeah, so it would be the engagement objective optimized for comments on the ad and just the Reels placement. So hopefully you guys had a lot of value from this. We had a lot of great questions today. Make sure that you are checking the featured section every single week. Don't miss out. And if you have not watched this replay, how to get your first 100 messenger conversations to validate an offer, I highly recommend that. If you have not watched this jam with me and Vince Reed, you could do that. And especially if you have not watched this bonus workshop on the ads ecosystem, definitely watch that. So those are 3 things that you guys can do this weekend. I guarantee if you watch those 3 things that I just showed you, you are going to learn a lot this weekend, and you are going to be able to take massive action next week. So